Hi everybody, it's Ken Varga again. I'll tell you something. It's just remarkable at 75 that just the technology is mind-boggling for me. So I could imagine what it's like for all you guys. But I want you to hold just a few things. I want you to hold your questions to the end, and when we'll answer whatever questions you have. But I also want you to have a pad and pen handy to take notes. No, I don't want you to go crazy because I'm going to be talking about things. You are going to get a recording of this session, of this webinar, tomorrow, when you can go through, and the things I'm going over that you need to copy down and write, you just pause the thing and you'll be able to write them all down. It's very, very, very good. But you know what? All of you, just like me, have filled out many, many surveys that individuals that we know have asked us to fill out. But you know, I feel this webinar is really a rarity because all the surveys I've ever filled out, nobody ever did a webinar on the questions that were asked and the information responses that were back. So unless they bought the training program, et cetera, et cetera. But we're probably the first to do such a webinar. But let's get started. All right, this is important because you're gonna. I promised you I'm going to answer your questions that you responded with. But the whole thing is about building your practice and an agency fast, and its ideas how to flood your agency with clients and early bird preview of my new training platform. Okay, John Davern is with the CEO of Virtual Assistant Talent. He's got multitudes of experience. I'm going to ask John to get on in a minute, but the important thing is I'm working this in conjunction with John, so I want to introduce John as we go along also. And here's a little bio about me. All of you who know me know I created 35 companies and over 6 million customers. I sold the last business in 1999 and retired. But I decided to rejoin the business world to share what I know. You know, it'd be a shame to take all this knowledge I have for creating customers with me to the grave. But here's some early bird survey responses and the questions that were asked. Now, I cover all of these things in my training, every one that everybody asked. In this webinar, I'll discuss the top 10 ideas and concerns that you raised in the survey. Now, those of you who sign up for the training program, we're going to have coaching programs after 4 of them, and we'll go over the remaining questions, and I'll do the responses at that time. But these were the most asked questions. Number 1, what are the top 3 things that you'd like to learn in the new training program? All right. Number 1, client retention. In section 4 of module 10, I go into how to make your customers feel special and compel them to do more business with you and give you truckloads of referrals. It's very important for client retention. Now, none of you are doing this, but when I had my companies, even before the internet, now you could communicate with your customer every month at a press of a button at no expense, except for maybe having a virtual assistant do this for you. But the key thing here is communicate and be in front of your client once a month. I used to do it before the internet through a thing called snail mail. It was a regular mail system. And throughout the training program, I go through some ideas on how you could communicate in front of your customers once a month. Like every month, there's at least one holiday. So let's take Veterans Day as an example. I used to send them off a letter telling them I just wanted to wish you a happy Veterans Day. And in case you don't know the history of Veterans Day, this is the history of Veterans Day and how it came about. And I went through 2 or 3 pages on that, which made it for interesting reading. And naturally, at the end, I asked them for referrals, which brings us to this one here. They provide people value and try to motivate them to contact me and refer me to others. In section 3, by the way, I have a full module and a couple of modules in that section on attracting a sufficient number of customer base and how to make it easy for them to give you referrals. and that's really extensive. In fact, it's considered the best referral system in the industry, bar none. But I want to go over a couple of scripts that you could write down also to get referrals on what I call referral conversations. The first one I'm going to go over with you is when somebody asks you, what do you do for a living, or what do you do? What's really great and exciting about this script is that you can use it every week. And if you talk to a lot of people each day, you might be able to use this every day. The script will get you customers every week because it's designed to be used whenever someone asks you the common question, what do you do? You know, you could just close your eyes and imagine for a moment how many times individuals have asked you that question. In your daily life, people will ask you the simple question over and over again because it's the most common question people ask during casual conversation. You must initially start by telling people a short story about what you do. By telling people a short story about what you do, you can paint the exact picture. All right? Here's an example. Somebody says, what do you do for a living? You just simply say, thanks for asking. The best way to describe what I do is with a quick story. Recently, I met a woman who needed help after her husband passed away. I spent hours going through the various documents she was confused about. I also communicated with the insurance company in her behest. Then I created a financial package that guaranteed her she would never run out of income by living too long. That is what I do. You know, after they hear this story, the person will normally mention something relative. They might say, I wish I had someone like you. Or they might say, wow, that's amazing. I could use the same help. You know, by telling people a short story about what you do, you could open the door to having a wonderful conversation about what makes you unique as an insurance agent or financial advisor, and how you can be the perfect financial advisor or insurance agent to help them. By using this script, you've just created a casual conversation into a referral conversation. All right? Let me give you another script for when people ask. Again, this is another referral script. Somebody says, how's business? I mean, how many times, again, has somebody asked you this common question during your life? You know, in your day-to-day life, people will ask you this simple question over and over again. You probably hear this question from friends, clients, family, business associates, everyone else. So how can you take this common question and turn it into a consistent referral source that will give you, all right, a chance to get more referrals and more business every time someone asks, how's business? What do you say now when someone asks you, how's business? You probably respond with, business is great. Now, if you would like to turn this question, how's business, into a steady source of referrals and new business, you need to answer the question in an uncommon way. You will need to turn this casual conversation into what I'll call, again, a referral conversation. This will give you a chance to get more referrals and new customers. So when someone asks you, how's business, you should say, it's going very well and thanks for asking. You know what is important? You know that I do have time to help you, your friends, and anyone else that you care about that could use my help. Now pause a minute. Then you ask them, if your best friend needed help creating a financial future for themselves where they never had to stress out about losing any money, would you feel comfortable introducing them to me? If they say no, then honor the answer and move on. If they say yes, I don't have a financial advisor that I'd feel comfortable sending my best friend to, then you should answer, I'm curious, what would have to happen for you to feel comfortable introducing the people that you care about to me so I can help them when they need financial advice? I mean, that to me is very, very mind-boggling and what have you. How about this here one? When I ask you, how's business? Just simply say it's going very well and thanks for asking. It's important you know that I do have time to help you, your friends, and anyone else that you care about that can use my help. Then you pause a moment like you did before, and here's just another answer. You ask them, if your best friend needed help creating a financial future for themselves where they never had to stress out about losing any money, would you feel comfortable introducing them to me? If they say, no, I don't have a financial advisor that I feel comfortable sending my best friend to, then you should answer, I'm curious. What would have to happen for you to feel comfortable? I mean, you know, if they say yes, I mean, you've got the referral right there. All right. Here's just one more referral conversation script that I have. It brings to mind a couple of months ago, I needed to go to my Lexus dealer because the light on my dashboard went on. And it's because it's a high performance vehicle. I had no idea what the issue was, but it didn't feel good to me. When I pulled into the dealership, I had a feeling this was going to cost me. The dealer said, let me hook it up to the diagnostic equipment and we'll see what the issue is. And after the test, the mechanic said, Ken, it's a malfunction in the air pressure pump. Boy, that sounded expensive to me. But he mentioned to me that I had a few options. He said, I could put your car up on a rack and replace the pump now, but that is really going to cost you. Or I could simply turn off the warning light and you could go out and drive the car for a few miles. If the warning light doesn't come back on after you drive the car, it means that everything is fine and the light just needed to be reset. So that's what I did. By the time I drove around, the light went out. Of course, I was relieved because I thought I was in for a costly repair bill. And surprisingly, it didn't cost me anything. When I saw the representative, I shook his hand and said, thank you. And I said it several times. I really was very grateful because I could have been easily charged thousands of dollars for a repair I didn't need. But his response when I thanked him was, no problem. If I can save you money, that is a good thing. And that was it. He went about his work and I got my car to drive away. But as I sat in my car and I was filled with gratitude that the problem was solved, in that moment I started thinking about what the dealer could have said to me that would have been more impactful and created a referral customer. I mean, he just saved me thousands of dollars, and all he said was no problem. I'm not trying to say anything negative about this guy, but his response of no problem is actually what most people say when someone thanks them. Saying no problem is extremely common. You know, if you don't say no problem, you might be saying you are welcome or don't mention it. All of those are habitual responses that most people use when someone says thank you. But it's a magical moment at that time, and it's a perfect time to have a meaningful referral conversation that can generate new clients. When someone says thank you, it can be one of the most profitable moments in your business. For those of you who are going to be in a training program, in module 1, I go over the law of reciprocity, and I show you many methods of using it. But this is just another one. When someone says thank you for this brief moment, they will experience a strong impulse to give something back to you. Here's the most important thing. You must ask for a referral immediately after someone thanks you. So the next time someone says thank you, you say it was my pleasure. You can always count on me, and I know that I can always count on you to introduce me to people excuse me, that you care about because you want your family, your friends, and neighbors to get the best advice when they are thinking of whatever the product that you're trying to sell does. It could be living a lifetime without losing any money, or a stress relief expert. You know, so those are just three little scripts that I feel are very, very impactful. I really, really do. And I feel that by using those, you could really, really gain a lot of prospects and do the nurturing, and it's just a lot of referrals that you can get. So anyway, let's go on here. Number 3 was prospecting without cold calling, turning a cold prospect into an appointment. In section 2 of the training program, I go into how to create powerful direct mail letters to wow your audience. I mean, this is just unbelievable. But, you know, many of you have asked about cold calling, and let me just go over a few ideas for you on how to convert cold prospects into buyers. I mean, all of you have had customers that have turned cold. But persistence is an essential trait that successful people like yourself possess. So, you know, you got to continue doing this. But the first thing I want to mention to you is consider creating an email list and adding those people into a monthly email campaign. Again, you're going to, in Module 1, I go over that extensively on how to do that, how to go to howto.com, get articles that will help them so you can send it out monthly and what have you. Number 2, if you have another contact in the company that you're trying to get into, ask them for input or to find out why the decision has been stalled. Develop a keep in touch campaign to keep your name in their mind. They may not be ready to buy now, but their situation could change in the future. Number 4, befriend the decision maker's executive assistant. Ask yourself, how important is this sale? If your answer is very important, determine what other actions or approaches you're willing to make that sales happen. So anyway, I hope that just added to it. Hiring recruiting strategies. I'll go over prospecting again on LinkedIn, so make sure you're on the webinar next week on how to prospect on LinkedIn. I'm going to go over one method, and then in the future I'm going to have other webinars to teach you how to use LinkedIn to get 20 to 30 new prospects every single month. But next you'll be getting the John, when is that email going to be going out for the webinar for next week?
Yeah, that email should be going out sometime today.
Okay, very good. So you'll be getting that webinar, so you want to sign up for it. But you know, it'll be recruiting strategies on how to try to recruit insurance agents if you're a broker and you're trying to recruit agents, or if you're with a company that your job is also besides selling, recruiting agents, that will really be extensively help you. Number 5, getting ideal clients, how to network, consistent selling ideas. These were 3 general things. But in section 5, I go over how to get affluent people, how to sell more product, and how to motivate them. I mean, I include a sales letter that I got a 37% response rate on, and it's just super. And it involves a pair of shoes, actually. But when you go over that section, you're going to find the way to do it. But what I'm going to do is also I go through another section in section 5 with grammar letters, etc. Lead generation, how to attract new prospects without buying leads, effective marketing to reach and acquire new leads. As I said, LinkedIn connection, next week I'll show you a webinar on how to create 10 to 25 new leads. Now, those of you who were on the connection webinar that we did about a year and a half ago, this is to go over the updated new LinkedIn changes that they made, which made it more and more difficult. It just seems that big companies seem to have a tendency to shoot themselves in the foot and always change the things that are working very well. But number 7 was a website setup and email marketing. Number 1, you want to promote yourself. I want you to contact virtualassistanttalent.com, who can set up your website. I mean, they do so much for me. I just did an analysis last month on what my monthly cost was, and I had a 357% response profit return on investment from my cost. So you want to do this here, but they can set up your website for effective marketing and set you up with an email marketing program through Aweber, Constant Contact, etc. But it's important that you do this, because you can have a website, but if it's not creating leads and everything, that's what you got to watch out for. Okay, number 8, what to do with previous clients, follow up with clients. In Section 5, Module 15, I go over how to motivate your former customers to do business with you again. I have a lost client letter example in this module. Now, it's important because everybody loses clients at some point in time. Either they move out of the area or what have you. That's understandable. But when you lose a client that is still there to the competition, then you want to try to regain their trust and all. And I go over extensively on how to do that. Number 9, how to make my job easier, how to get my name out there more. Again, prospecting and the referral program. Investigate what Virtual Assistant can do for you in the daily activities to make your job easier. You should be out there making more sales rather than doing the prospecting and mundane functions that the Virtual Assistant talent could do for you. Now, the last one, number 10, is where to find good salespeople, how to attract them, and how to keep them motivated. This is what we're going to do on LinkedIn, the webinar for insurance groups, because they're right in there. And again, these are salespeople that insurance agents want to recruit. Again, it's all about building relationships, people. Throughout my career at 35 years and over 6 million clients, 95% of them I never saw or never faced. They were all through direct mail. I was non-resident licensed in every state in the union, and they responded with direct mail, and I go over all of that and what I do in the training program. I mean, you know, there's over almost 1,300 pages in the modules, so it's quite extensive, and all you need to do is just implement the strategies. So the second part was, what are the top 2 or 3 problems that are occurring in your agency or practice now that you would like answers to? Number 1 is motivation. In Section 13, Module 41, I go over 10 surefire ways to turn your employees into business builders and profit producers. I mean, they should be referring people to you. And I focus on knowing how to live quality in every aspect of your work. You want to try to do that. The fine art and exact science of being a great boss and great employee. I go over all that in the modules. Retention, keeping clients on the books. Again, it's all about building that relationship. It's all about the newsletters you're going to send out, the monthly communication, holiday letters, birthday calls are so important. I mean, it has made such a difference for those individuals who have listened to me about the birthday calls and the thank yous. When somebody picks up the phone, you call them and you say you just wanted to say thank you for being a customer, and then you go through the thank you referral conversation. But the monthly communications, the holiday letters, the birthday calls, you can have somebody at the office doing this or have virtual assistants do it. How can I get agents to become captive agents? Again, by doing the LinkedIn connection requests. You're not going to get everybody to become a captive agent because a lot of individuals want to be independent. But there are going to be individuals that would be enamored with what you have to offer to them about becoming a captive agent. Another question was asked about practice management, that nobody has a program or system out there. In section 9, I go over operating with an ideal business plan and making passive income to fulfill your dreams. I mean, once you get a client, it's immediately wonderful, and they'll be with you forever. And you want, in everything I teach you, it's how to create lifelong customers that stay with you forever. Which reminds me, persistency. Again, how to get great persistency is constant communication and follow-up, and through newsletters, birthdays, holiday letters, etc. Number 6, need to make more sales and spend less time on giving information or servicing. You got to learn how to delegate this responsibility to others in your office, and also with the VA talent, they can help you out immensely at a much lower cost. They can show you what it would cost you to hire somebody that could do an equivalent job, and you're probably going to save yourself 50 to 75% just in payroll. But section 6 of my training program is presenting the greatest benefits of your product and service to the people that surround you. And in module 20, I go over how to turn quotes into sales, because a lot of a lot of individuals request quotes and don't become a client. So number 7 is traffic to your website. Unlike marketing, is not as good. Getting social media to have a higher return on investment. All right. Again, communicate with virtual assistant talent so they can let you know how to create a website, but also develop traffic to the website, do the online marketing. It doesn't make a darn bit of good if you have a website and it doesn't develop traffic, and you don't put traffic through the website and then create sales from it. So number 8 is keeping your funnel full. Again, leverage virtual assistant talent to generate leads to your website and do consistent prospecting. They'll do the LinkedIn, that your funnel will be full continuously, because you'll get 10 to 25 to 30 new connection requests every single month. But in section 5 in a training program, I go over the most effective system for creating prospecting that will get you new customers every time. And number 9 was how to turn around negative press and or ex-employees bad-mouthing our company. Well, number 1, you got to face the problem immediately and getting current clients to write positive statements for you. In other words, when current clients have positive statements, you post those. When somebody gives you a negative idea or negative press, you just give them the positive responses that clients have given about you. But you got to act on it immediately. You can't hold off for weeks. All right. And the last one is finding a way to talk to the right people with big companies. Again, in section 5, I go over module 17, how to persuade affluent prospects to call you for appointments. That is just unbelievable. I guarantee that if you send it out, a letter out to 100 individuals a month, you're going to get a 37% response rate or close to that. Anyway, the third thing that was asked was in a survey was what type of training delivery platform that you wanted to see and work with. And you responded back. So the training delivery it's going to be an ebook format, PDF, where you click on the thing and you download it. So make sure you have enough of paper in your printer. And what I've done is did audio from each module. And you wanted to create a membership site, which is what I did, and have video in it, and podcasts, which is our coaching sessions. And the 7 would be other white papers, webinars, etc. And we'll consistently be doing that. And as a member of the training membership program, every time LinkedIn or I'm going to go over another webinar in the future on Meetup, which is just phenomenal for prospecting. All of you network. I belong to networking organizations, And if you just follow up on the meetup ones, it's just unbelievable what can occur. Okay, so number 4, the Build Your Practice Fast training program. I'm going to go over it now with you. The Build Your training program is divided into 13 sections, with each section having a general theme and multiple modules within each section. As an example, section 1 is all about list building and how to make your database work for you. So you can see what they're down here, it is. So when you go to buildyourpracticefast.com, you'll see the different sections and the program there. But when you click on module 1, this is what you'll see. Every module has a PDF that you can download and read in a computer-generated text to audio that you can listen to any time. So you see it has 42 training modules in PDF ebook format, converted to an MP3 audio download. So these are the 3 modules that are in here, and all you do is click on the download down here, and then click on here, save as download. What I would suggest that everybody do is to create a Ken Varga folder on their desktop and put all these modules, download them, save them as whatever it is there, and put them into the Ken Varga folder. And also do the same thing with the video recordings. I personally think you should download the video recordings on your in your iTunes and listen to them while you're working out. So that's basically a little bit about it. But next to section 13 tab is the coaching calls tab. You want to click on it and you'll see an archive of my pre-recorded coaching calls. There's over 40 hours worth, and it's on topics that have come up and questions that were asked and the answers that I gave to everyone on how you can build your practice fast and create more clients. Again, there's 40 hours of pre-recorded calls on key topics that are pertinent to building your practice or agency. So here's just a couple of questions. That one question that was asked was, what kind of CRM software might be good for direct mail, and how do you track your mailings? Anyway, there's a lot of questions that are asked that I give answers to. All about building rapport and relationships, to be the first sale before. I just want to mention a quick prospecting referral tool to you before I go on. You could read this about Brian Tracy, but in the coaching calls, I go over one method of doing a birthday party for your client where they invite 10 or 15 of their friends, relatives, co-business owners, etc., to the birthday party, or you might give them a lunch. But you're going to be in front of them, and you'll also start speaking about financial or insurance or what have you to them. And you're going to create, because he's going to give you their name, address, email address. Okay, so all of you know Brian Tracy. And this is just what Brian Tracy said a little bit about me, just to pat myself on the back a little bit, and to show you what other well-known people are saying about me. Here's one from Mark Victor Hansen. I'll just pause for a moment so that you could look at it and read it. And the last one is from my dear friend Dan Kennedy. Anyway, Danny was trying to be facetious when he said that that I make so much money they have a person in Washington designated to try and figure out how to get more taxes out of me. Anyway, let's go on. The investment on your part into the program is only $1,497. But if you're one of the first 100 to enroll in the program, you get these 2 additional bonuses. All right, the total value of these 2 bonuses is $2,697. Anyway, bonus number 1 is 2 months of live coaching calls, all right, where I answer any questions you have about flooding your practice or agency with clients. You'll get to learn what challenges your colleagues are also facing because you'll be on the call with them and how you too can conquer those challenges. And John, why don't you come on in a moment and just mention about bonus number 2?
Yeah, thanks, Ken. Pleasure to be on the call. The second bonus that we have is, as Ken mentioned, I have a virtual assistant company, virtualassistanttalent.com. And I've been working with Ken for 4 years as a part of his coaching program. And Ken talks a lot about virtual assistants. I hired my first virtual assistant in 2006 when I was doing real estate, and started the virtual assistant company in 2009. And a lot of the techniques that he teaches in the training, these are things that you can outsource to a virtual assistant or delegate to a virtual assistant. And so one of the bonuses that we're offering here, it's probably the biggest discount that I've ever offered. There's the first option, which is you can test out a weekly service with a virtual assistant, and that would be for $50 off. So you can test it out how it works. When you hire one of our virtual assistants on a weekly subscription, we set them up with a Skype account with a local phone number, so you can easily contact the VA with a local phone number and calling plan. We also have a screen capturing software that we provide as well, so that the VA's work can be monitored with screen captures. And there's also a support team that we have, customer service and an HR department that monitors the VA activity for attendance and performance and so forth. So first thing is a $50 coupon voucher so you can test out the VA for a week. The second thing is a $150 voucher off of the monthly service. So after, if you test it out for a week, you like that, there's another coupon voucher that you're going to come apply for a monthly subscription. So those are the 2 bonuses that we're offering related to the virtual assistant services. That has a value of $200.
Now comes the great part. I have a special early bird discount for you. Instead of $1,497, it's only $997 your investment. That's $500 off the price as an early bird. And on the top of that, we have a bonus of an extra 2 months of coaching calls with me. So there's a total value now of $4,994. Again, you get full access to the 42 training modules in PDF, ebook format, and converted the audios. You get 40 hours of coaching calls that I've recorded in the past with massive, massive ideas on creating customers. And of course, you got the no risk 30-day money back guarantee. So get started on growing your revenues by clicking on the link that I'll be giving you. Start learning today and get more clients than you can possibly handle. John, why don't you come in and mention about the additional bonus that you're going to be offering the early bird special people?
Yeah, thanks, Ken. Yeah, as an added early bird bonus, I'm going to have a bonus webinar where I'm going to cover how to successfully outsource tasks and manage your first virtual assistant. So as I mentioned before, I started virtual assistant talent in 2009, and during that time period I hired hundreds of VAs, and I've trained hundreds of VAs, and we've had hundreds of customers that have had virtual assistants. And my own experience of my first virtual assistant I hired back in 2006. So on this call I'm going to cover best ways and methods on how you can successfully delegate tasks to a virtual assistant. So what to do, what not to do, and all the common pitfalls of outsourcing to avoid, and how to have best practices in terms of communicating with the VA and how to navigate through cultural differences. And I'm also going to discuss how you can develop a standardized work so that you can delegate daily tasks to the VA, weekly tasks, and monthly tasks, as well as leverage all the best project management and communication tools in managing a virtual team. So on this call, it's going to be me, and it's also going to be key members of my virtual assistant team, and we'll show you how to have a successful experience with your first virtual assistant, really taking advantage of having that work-life balance and leveraging the ability to have somebody do this work for you virtually, and also help you to get a lot more leads for your business without you having to put a lot more time into it.
Thanks, John. One of the things that I have realized since I've been utilizing your services for many, many years is how individuals have websites, and yet very few individuals have profitable websites that produce leads and sales. And I just wanted to mention how great your team is and compliment them on how they've made that happen. In fact, I compared last month's cost that it cost me for your services, and I found that I had over a 357% return on investment. So let's continue. So the special early bird special discount is $500 off, and your investment is only $997. I give you some bonuses. You get 4 months coaching calls, virtual assistant coupon and vouchers from John, valued at $200. You have no reason not to even try it out. But he's also included the webinar on how to successfully outsource and manage your first virtual assistant. That's a value of $350. So a total early bird discount and bonus values that I've included is over $6,000. It comes to $6,044. So you can't afford not to take advantage of it. So sign up now. Here's the link: buildyourpracticefast.com/early-bird, and the promo code is early500KV. So I'll leave that on for a moment. Okay, so if some of you are in network marketers, like some insurance companies are network marketing groups, you might want to consider Build Your Downline Fast or Build Your Business Fast. But I would, if you're in the insurance business and you have a financial advisor, just stick with the insurance one. So now let's go into some questions and answers, John.
Yeah, there's a couple different ways you can ask a question. One is through the questions section. So on your control panel tab, if you click question, you can actually submit a question that way and type a question. Another way would be if you actually want to go on the call, just raise your hand and I can unmute you and you can ask a live question that way. Final way might be through the chat box. So we've got a couple questions that have come in already. First question is from David. David is asking, so David, thanks for being on the call. David's asked, what is the normal cost of a virtual assistant? So cost of the virtual assistant ranges depending on whether you're having a VA do a technical task versus non-technical. Non-technical would be something that doesn't involve typically programming or let's say it's designing a website or doing programming or SQL Normally, you can get a VA. We start out with experienced VAs at $8.20 per hour, and that's kind of a price point that I've come up with. That is the best price point to get to leverage experienced VAs that are talented and optimal for retaining the VA. Because you can hire VAs at any different price point, but if you're not paying somebody well enough, you're not going to be able to retain that person. So $8.20 an hour is what we charge for a starting point for non-technical VAs, for VAs with technical skills, programming skills, web development skills. That price point starts at $11.20 per hour. So just as kind of a comparison, by hiring somebody remotely, you can save. I received a quote from a web development company here in Silicon Valley, and they were charging $100 an hour on web development versus our pricing, which is $11.20 per hour. So you can save significantly, especially if you're starting out your business and on a tight budget. It's a huge savings that you can get. So I hope that answers your question, David. But yeah, that's the price point. We can work with any type of budget, but again, that's kind of the sweet spot that I found in attracting the best talent and also being able to retain the talent. Another one on VAs. Can one of your VAs be used to call business prospects and set appointments, and what's the rate? So that's questions from Joe. Thanks for a question, Joe. Yes, that's one of the common tasks that VAs can be utilized for is the prospecting. So calling the business, prospecting, and appointment setting. We get a lot of people that request VAs for that. So part of our services, when you purchase the VA services, we set them up with a, if you're based in the US, we set them up with an unlimited US and Canada a calling plan, and then a local phone number, so that a local phone number shows up on the caller ID. If they're in Canada, we have clients in the UK, we set them up with a UK phone number as well. So the price point for that, for a telemarketer to do prospecting, starts at, typically it's going to be $8.20 an hour for something like that. Our process, if you sign up for the VA services, we'll typically send you 2 or 3 candidates to review, and then you can talk to them on the phone, see if you like how they communicate before you hire the VA. And if they're not producing, just like if you're hiring somebody in your office, if somebody's not producing, of course you can replace that person if they're not producing for you. So hope that answers your question, Joe. And okay, so the VAs are offshore. That's another question that came up here. Yeah, the virtual assistants are located in the Philippines, and so the reason it's in the Philippines is that's where I happened to hire my first virtual assistant from, was in the Philippines. The reason why Philippines is a good choice is because English is part of the schooling curriculum early on. So people it's part of their curriculum, and speak fluent English, both written and verbal. That's why it's such a great location to have virtual assistants from, is Philippines. So
John, I just want to add to that. They all have a United States phone number where you could communicate with them consistently.
Correct, yes. And you know, one of the things, there's varying degrees of you know, when you're selecting your VA, if you have part of the skill set is communications. Communication skills if you have somebody doing telemarketing or prospecting. So people who are doing telemarketing or prospecting have varying levels of communication skills, and that's something where you can, I've had virtual assistants from Philippines that sound like U.S. native speakers. that good. And then I've had, you know, others that if they're managing, for example, my social media or doing website, the communication skill, they may sound as if they've got an accent, if you will, but that's because they're doing, you know, web design or programming. But I still have no problem, you know, communicating with my virtual assistant. So we strive to get people on our team that are have good communication skills, that are used to communicating well with the client, but we also assist in that because I've got a core team that has an operations manager, human resources, and we're there to kind of help facilitate or handhold to make sure it's a good experience. So yeah, hope that answers your question, Phil. Thank you very much. Any yeah,
John,
go ahead, Ken.
I just want to mention, if anybody has any additional questions after, just send me an email at Ken, K-E-N, PBG, Peter Boy Girl, at AOL.com. That's Ken, PBG, at AOL.com.
Okay, let me check see if anybody has any other questions here. I don't see.
Doesn't look like any, John. So why don't we do this? Again, anybody has any questions after that they didn't think about while they were on, could just send me an email, and I'll be glad to respond back.
Yeah, and I've got one. I can show something very quickly, Ken. The actual website very quickly. You've kind of already showed that in the presentation, yeah. But
why don't you do that?
Just so to give kind of an overview, when you sign up for the program, you'll be if you go to the buildyourpracticefast.com/early-bird and you sign up, you'll be able to fill out the form. You'll get a username and password for the site after you submit your payment. That'll take you to the training website. You'll log into the training website and you'll see there's the welcome section with the video of Ken. You can play it live. You can also download. Then there's a schedule that shows the schedule of all of the courses and the release dates for the courses. So for example, you'll be able to see the schedule when certain courses are released. So this is designed to kind of pace yourself as you go through. So when you start out, these sections are all immediately available, and then we're releasing different sections basically on a weekly basis so that you can pace yourself and implement. There also has the coaching call schedule. So the first bonus coaching call is going to be Wednesday, September 27th. If you sign up after the fact and you miss the calls, those calls will be available as a replay. And then it has a schedule for the second coaching call for October 25th, and so forth. So all the coaching call schedules are there. So this gives you a good overview of the course. If you click on course overview, there's a video of Ken talking about the course. You can download that. Then there's a PDF where you can download the roadmap for the course. And then as Ken already pointed out, with each of the modules, if you click on a section, you'll be able to see what does the module cover. If you click on the module, you can download the PDF, and then there's the audio. It's basically it's a text to MP3 conversion, so you'll be able to play the audio, and then you can also download it. And then if you scroll all the way to the end, is the database of all the coaching calls. So here's the coaching call schedule for the live coaching calls. So all the 4 different bonuses. You'll get an email on those coaching calls, so you'll have a link to get to the webinar for that. and then all the coaching call replays and the database of the 40 hours of coaching calls. You just click the link for that, and it has all the coaching calls. You can play them or you can download them. And the good thing about this is it's organized, so you can kind of see what's the title of the coaching call, kind of the general theme, and what general topics were covered in that. So you can kind of skip through. If you got a pressing question that's pertinent, you can skip right down to that. So that's an outstanding resource, is that database of the coaching calls. And then the last thing is the contact us form. This is where you can submit any questions that you have for the upcoming coaching calls. You submit this, it goes to Ken, and also if you have any issues or concerns, you can also fill this form out as well. So that's just a quick demo of what the training program looks like. So.
Well, John, I want to thank you, and I want to thank everybody that persevered for this last hour. And I know I've given you information that will help you create more customers. And I look forward to working with you in a training program on a one-on-one basis. So everybody take care, keep well, and keep healthy. Take care now.
Okay, a quick question came in. Let's see, from Phil on the renewal fees. There's not a renewal fee, associated with the website. And Marcel was having a problem with the website address. So Marcel, just shoot me a quick email here, and then I'll take a look at what might be happening with that. So let me give you my email address. Okay. There we go. And again, Julian will give you a call shortly after the call here. Okay. Well, thanks everybody.
Hi, Marcel. It's Ken. Miss hearing you each month. Anyway, everyone keep well. And again, I look forward to working with you in the coaching program.